Okay, it's 7 o'clock.
Good evening. I call to order this regular joint meeting of the Minnehaha County and Sioux Falls Planning Commissions. And I will begin with a few introductory comments. As a courtesy to everyone here tonight, please make sure that all cell phones have been silenced. Please note that tonight's Planning Commission meeting will be rebroadcast via CityLink and posted on the www.minnehahacounty.gov site for viewing by the general public. The two planning commissions work together on land use and zoning matters within the rural area surrounding the city. This area is displayed on the screen. When this joint hearing is completed, the joint Sioux Falls and County Planning Commission will adjourn and the next regular business meeting will begin to consider items beyond the joint zoning jurisdiction with Sioux Falls. Any action taken on the conditional use permit applications tonight will take effect 5 working days following this meeting, unless a written appeal of the Planning Commission's decision is filed in the Planning Office by Monday, March 4th at 5 p.m. In the event of an appeal, the decision will be referred to the Joint County Commission and City Council for a joint hearing on Tuesday, March 26, 2024, at or after 5 p.m. The affected parties will be notified of the meeting date. Joint meetings of the County Commission and Sioux Falls City Council are held at Carnegie Town Hall, and that is located at 235 West 10th Street. Action taken on the zoning text amendment during the public hearing tonight is a recommendation that will be forwarded to the County Commission and City Council for another public hearing on Tuesday, March 26, 2024, at or after 5 p.m. Joint meetings of the County Commission and City Council are held at Carnegie Town Hall, 235 West 10th Street. Any action taken on the final development plan will be final. First on the agenda is public input. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? At this time, the Planning Commission will consider the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are perceived to be non-controversial and meet all of the requirements of the codes and regulations. The consent agenda will be acted on in one motion with no public hearing on the items unless a member of the public, the commission, or staff requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. The minutes from the January 22nd, 2024 meeting are included in the consent agenda. Next, I'll read each item on the consent agenda and ask if there are any issues or comments from the Planning Commission or the audience. If any member of the Planning Commission or the audience would like to be heard on the item, please raise your hand and the item will be moved to the regular agenda to allow you to address the Commission later in the meeting. Any items remaining on the consent agenda will be approved by the Planning Commission with the conditions recommended by staff. Item number 1 is the approval of the minutes of the January 22nd, 2024 meeting. Item number 2 is conditional use permit 24-04 to allow a fire equipment manufacturing facility on the property legally described as Lot 1A, Block 3, Benson 2nd Edition. That's in the Northeast Quarter, Section 13, Township 102 North, Range 50 West. That is in Benton Township. The petitioner is Van Busker Construction. Property owner is Ron Hyman. Location 25814 Rudolph Avenue. Is there anyone from the audience of the Planning Commission wish to be heard on this item? Item number 3 is conditional use permit 24-05 to allow a golf course on the property legally described as that part of Section 25 North of Highway included Lot PE1, there is an exception of the southwest quarter, the northwest quarter, an exception of the northwest quarter, the southwest quarter, and except the road and except the south 909 feet, the east 934.9 feet, southeast quarter, northeast quarter, and the except Tutlands Tract 1A, and except lots H3, H4, H5, and H8. That is the end of the exception. Section 25, Township 102 North, Range 49 West, that is a Mapleton Township. Petitioner is 19 Flags LLC, landowner, Douglas Klein Family Trust, location 26011 478th Avenue.
Madam Chair, staff would like to remove items number 3 and number 4 from the consent agenda.
Thank you. Okay, then the consent agenda for items that need to be approved are item number 1 and item number 2. I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve items 1 and 2 on the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve items number 1 and 2. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
On the city side, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 1 and 2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Passed on the city side.
Thank you. Since item number 2 has been approved, you are free to go if you're in the audience. We'll move on to item number 3.
Madam Chair, I need to recuse myself from item 3 and 4. So
Okay.
Passing it to there.
Thank you. Kevin?
Yes, item number 3 is a conditional use permit to allow a golf course, as you read it. This item directly relates to final development plan number 2401, which is the next item on the agenda. This is to allow a golf course in the westernmost 22 acres on a large parcel of land, as shown in red here. That would be the 22 acres. The additional land for the golf course would allow for golf holes to cross over Slip Up Creek in conjunction with the Mapleton planned golf plan development. A golf course is allowed within the A1 agricultural zoning district with approval of a conditional use permit. And since this doesn't have any additional buildings on it, it can be approved by the conditional use permit. Staff is recommending approval with the 2 conditions as listed in the report, and I'm here for any questions.
Any questions for him? Not at this time. Is the petitioner here?
Representative Tuckett. Representing the petitioner.
Would you step forward, please, and state your name and address?
Yep, Riley Reinhardt, representing DGR, or with DGR Engineering, here representing the petitioners, the golf club developer group.
Any questions for him? Okay, thank you. Anyone from the audience care to address this item? Okay, commissioners?
Yes, Madam Chair, if I may, this sounds like a pretty simple request, and as Kevin stated, it is an allowable use with a conditional use permit, so with that stated, I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion and second to approve conditional use permit 24-05. Any further comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes on the county side.
Guess on the city side, any questions or comments for staff or the petitioner? Can I get a motion?
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve item 3.
I'll second.
All those in favor, state yes.
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 Passes on the city side.
Thank you. Item number 4.
All right, so item number 4 is a final development plan, number 2401. The petitioner is 19 Flags LLC. And the location is between Slip Up Creek Road and Interstate 90, approximately 1 mile north of Sioux Falls. Bring up the map here for the location. We've seen this property last summer for the planned development when it was presented, and presented a preliminary development plan with the golf course on the south side of the property, and the clubhouse and other supporting buildings on the north side of the property towards Slip Up Creek Road. The petitioner has submitted all the requirements for the staff review for the final development plan. Here you can see the existing layout of the land, and you'll note that there is some floodplain from Slip Up Creek on the property there in the kind of the blue hash area. This would be the high and up view of the whole golf course development. And you'll see that the whole layout, that there is plans for bridges over the creek in 3 different locations. On the south side, there's also a plan for what was called in the site plan a halfway house, which is also called a comfort station. So it would be basically bathroom facilities and like a concession type facility for golfers to see in the halfway through the course. And then the north side up in there, this view is not very detailed, but it gets more detailed later in the plan. You'll see the layout of the property, if I can bring my mouse. The clubhouse being right here, and then the lodging facilities here with the golf cart area, like barn building here, and then a maintenance facility over here with some maintenance grounds. This is the proposed water layout to show also when construction is going under. There'll be silt fence along the creek. This is the water layout of the northern part of the facility. You'll note that water is getting directed this direction, where there will be a holding pond right here for the water, for like a temporary holding pond. This is the utility plan. It shows the cart paths throughout the course. And this is the utility plan for the northern part of the facility, which shows sewer and water again throughout the facility. This green box here is the planned septic field here for the facility. And they'll all be linked into that septic system. And then the petitioner submitted a landscape plan. It's rather general, but it has trees throughout the parking areas and throughout the landscaping, and then more details around here. I'm sure there'll be more details closer up at a later date, but this is a high view of the landscape plan. Staff did take some photos. You can see down in some of the draws, you can see some work starting throughout the land. And that got a little bit blurry on that photo. But yeah, some of the dirt work. Staff did raise, bring up in the staff report that, let's see, towards the end of the staff report, there was discussions with the highway department and the city of Sioux Falls Streets department. And we did get that kind of resolved. And I'll bring up a couple of changes that I would like to bring up with that resolution. So the agreement that the city, the county, and the petitioner has is that if there is going to be a second driveway on the property, that second driveway would only be guaranteed while the county is maintaining that highway. That once the city takes control of the highway for annexation and takes over maintenance, they would reserve the ability to remove that second driveway at a future date. So the changes that I have suggested on this conditions list is then mark off in condition number 5 that both driveways should be hard surfaced coming off the road. So turn that into a plural. And then add condition number 8. A major amendment must be allowed or approved to allow a second driveway access onto Slip Up Creek Road. The second driveway access is only approved while Minnehaha County maintains Slip Up Creek Road. The city streets department will have the ability to reevaluate the second driveway access when Slip Up Creek Road is annexed into the city of Sioux Falls. And that was brought to the applicant as well, so they're aware of the amendment. What else was I going to add to that? And this was mainly because in the major amendment, we'll have to come back to this body again, because in the original planned development district, there was 4 restrictions required for the district. And one of them, letter A for one of the restrictions, was only one driveway access shall be allowed onto Slip Up Creek Road. And this would be a change I would have to make to amend that condition. So, are there any questions?
I have one. Now, you're changing some of the conditions, and you said this has got to come back to us then?
Yeah, so it will have to come back because that single driveway was a requirement of the plan development approved last summer. So we can approve it conditional on you get this major amendment, so they can get that major amendment after this approval is done.
Okay. Any other further questions for him? Guess not at this time. Is the petitioner here?
Riley Reinhardt again, DGR, representing the petitioner. I think Kevin said it all well. Just to add on to what he said, we coordinated with the city engineering staff and county highway staff and planning staff on the additional driveway, getting that approved and the major amendment. So as far as the petitioner goes and the developer group, we're all good with that, and good with all the revised language that Kevin represented that's up on the screen as well. So
Okay.
love to answer any questions that any of you might have.
Any questions for him? Guess not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone from the audience care to address this item?
Hello, Tyler Childress, owner of the property right next to that one. A couple of things. The second driveway, I'm for business and for the golf course. The second driveway causes a little concern. We've been out there for events and people have tried turning into that second driveway, and there's going to be an accident waiting to happen. So just use caution with that. Right now it's 45 miles an hour. So just understand that if people turn it into their golf course thinking it's our venue, people have been backing back out. It's already been an issue. I notified them. So just keep that in mind as you do this. Screening, so from the maintenance area, if you pull up that diagram drawing, it talks about different chemicals and different things that are left in the back end of there. We would ask some sort of privacy. There has some trees on the outside, but what does that mean? Does that mean 1? Does that mean 2? Is there any fencing that could be done on that outside of there? It's just a little concerning because that's our main driveway to the east there. So those 2 things. And water drainage, we're a little concerned. Our property has lots of floodplain already on it, and they put in some temporary culverts that have diverted water to us already. We're just concerned that we're not looking at downstream or down the floodplain. So kind of keep that in mind too as you're making your decisions. They already have 2 driveways. We've already been you permitted one, but there's 2 already being used. So I think it's a concern of ours, because our road is very close to theirs. And my main concern is just the looks on the back end of there. You know, the front side could look all great, all grace, but on the back side of the maintenance, you know, you're having mowers that are being torn apart, you're having service issues, you're having plowed trucks, you're having other types of stuff in the back end. I just want to keep that kind of pretty in the back end. So, thank you.
Anyone else care to address this item?
Yeah, just to respond to a couple of those items. First being the driveway locations, the way they're shown on the picture up on the screen. That was at the request of the city engineering staff and county highway staff. As far as having two driveway approaches, that was a request that we received, that it's as close to the existing driveway location to the neighbors as possible, just for safety purposes. As far as drainage goes too, we do plan to incorporate detention pond to control stormwater runoff. We won't be having any negative impact, and we'll be directing stormwater runoff the same general vicinity area that it was going prior. So one last thing I'll add too, as far as the maintenance pad goes, with the equipment that'll be up on there, the intent is to have some plantings in that area. The petitioner, the golf course group, plans for that to be a neat, organized area there as well. They'll have a small wash pad and some storage materials, but they intend to keep that in a neat, orderly, good-looking manner. And then the road that runs along the east side, although it looks maybe more major than it is on that picture, the brown path, it's intended to just be a small gravel path just for maintenance vehicles. There's already a path there of some sort, just kind of tire paths, wheel paths. The intent there is to put a little bit more gravel there, and they'll use that for maintenance access, to access portions of the course. So, yep, just wanted to add those few things.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Would you be open to some kind of a privacy fence or some kind of screening? Because when you say some plantings, that's very vague. So would your client be open to some type of a privacy fence to make sure that this looks neat for people coming to the event center? And I don't know how much traffic will be on that road, but I think dust is a potential issue if there's going to be lots of traffic on that road.
So, yes, I would say a screening fence could be incorporated on the east side to block some of that. On the south end, some of those bays will actually have walls to them, so there won't be anything visible there. They're intended to hold sand and other materials inside of them. So there will be a form of a screen wall on some of those anyway on the south end. I think on the east side, that could be incorporated. As far as traffic on the gravel path goes, it's really minimal. It's, I guess, some of their lawnmowers as they're going in and out. There's not going to be really much for vehicle traffic. It'd be occasionally if they need to service their septic system. There'll be some golf cart traffic, low speeds, smaller equipment type of traffic. So I don't anticipate that dust will probably, I don't think dust will be a big issue on that path, and it won't be all their maintenance. On top of that, it won't be all their maintenance vehicle traffic that goes that route. A good portion of it is actually going to go west too onto the paved route. So it's what I would consider to be really small volume traffic and small equipment at low speeds.
Thank you.
Any other questions for him?
Can you just clarify on both driveway entrances, are those gated? I know the main one's gated, but is the secondary one gated?
Yes, so, yes, that's what, they will both be gated. There'll be a main entrance gate that's operated remotely. The intent is at the east access, which is the maintenance access. That would just be, it wouldn't be golf members that are using that access. It's just the 20 or so employees that are doing grounds work. That one, they intend to have just a manual gate at that one as well to secure that. And then one of the requests that we received from the meeting discussion that we had with the city engineers and county highway staff is that we add a gate in the middle as well. So if you look closely on that picture that's up on the screen, you can see another manual gate in the middle to isolate those two areas. So 3 gates technically.
Okay. Anybody else have a question for him? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else care to address this item? Okay, commissioners?
I understand the concern about the back of the maintenance building, and I would like to add an additional condition that there be a privacy fence screening on the back side or the east side of the maintenance building.
Of the parking lot? Do you mean of the parking lot? The screening fence, just so we have an idea, right there?
Right where Kevin
Okay,
is,
that's their,
back of the maintenance building, right?
well, the maintenance building is the blue,
Right,
so that's sort of like the
Maintenance yard. we'll
maintenance
call that.
yard.
yeah.
Okay.
This drawing shows lots of nice trees, but the other one, yeah.
So you're suggesting another condition, which is number 9?
No,
Okay, Commissioner.
I have. Is there another one that I missed? 8.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
That was
8.
number 8 that he had.
So this is number 9.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Joe.
I'll second that to get your amendment going.
Okay. I have, I guess, a motion and a second on the floor to approve the final development plan along with the conditions. Any further discussion?
Or were we just, Madam Chair, were we just approving the amendment, or do we want, or was your motion to approve with the amendments?
I need another amendment.
Yes.
So I think we have to
Which
adopt
would be-
the amendment first, and then the plan?
I thought we were gonna do the plan with the additional conditions.
Conditions? Okay.
So it would be one motion?
One motion.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm supportive of that, so I'll second that.
Okay, on the floor, I have a final motion to approve the final development plan number 24-01. Any further discussions?
Madam Chair, sorry, on the city side, my personal thought is with the additional landscaping that's displayed here, I'm not thinking a fence would be hindering that, potentially in my mind. So are you putting an amendment on there to require a fence in that section of the parking lot where those trees are currently located on the east side of that maintenance yard? Is that what that is? Or is that what you're proposing for number 9?
In the other drawing, the trees as they are graphed there were not evident. And I was concerned about the screening because I understand that concern that people are gonna drive to the event center and drive by a building that's got a bunch of maintenance stuff in the back.
Okay, so then, I thought I heard you say you weren't doing the amendment after you saw those trees, so are we caught
No,
up?
I
Are we
said that I
doing
wasn't aware, I did not withdraw my amendment.
You did not, okay.
No.
On the city side, I don't know if I'm gonna support that. Split decision and so on and so forth, but open to more discussion on that.
Okay, any further discussion?
Say together, I think
Yeah.
we're just looking like a 6-foot landscaping, so I want some sort of requirement that has that on there. So in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we can say it has to have a 6-foot plants across it, not a fence. That's what we're saying, it's some sort of screening across the entire thing, that way we're all on the same page. If we could add that as a condition, that's what we'd want. So then essentially it's a buffering, which we want, but a fence may not be the best buffer for us. Want it to look beautiful, look
I
nice.
agree with that. I think on both sides, we'd prefer not to have a fence there, more of a landscape buffer.
We want that
Okay.
as a condition, that way we can uphold them to that condition. So similar, we're trying to accomplish the same thing.
Okay, so Madam Chair, I will withdraw my amendment,
Okay,
and that means you have to withdraw your
I'll
second.
withdraw a second. Well, let's start over.
okay,
Let's
we will
start
start
over.
over, all right? Okay, so I'll need, I guess, a new motion, since we're starting over.
Okay, before I just stick my foot in the mud again, can I think in the past, haven't we had amendments for the, or conditions for the neighbors to work together on a plan? Or do we need to, how specific do we need to be here to make sure that there is some type of a buffer that's satisfactory?
Well, Scott Anderson, Planning Director, what we've sometimes done in the past, you have indicated that, that they submit a specific landscape plan for, let's just call that the area east of the maintenance shop, staging, or what did you call that, Mike?
Yard. Lay
The
down
yard,
yard.
maintenance yard. So maybe maybe you could form a condition that would say something like, that, prior to the building opening or the site being utilized, that there's a landscape plan that's, for the area east of the maintenance yard that's reviewed and approved by the planning director.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. So, Madam Chair, I'll try this again.
All right,
I move for condition number 9, that the applicant develop a landscape plan that is submitted to the planning director for approval prior to the opening of the golf course,
For the area east of
the area east of the
maintenance yard.
maintenance yard.
Yep.
There we got it,
Okay.
I think.
I'll second that one, and just for point of clarification, we're also incorporating the, what was it, number 5 and number 8 as proposed by Kevin. So
correct.
that's our full list, and so I would second that.
So I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
On the city side, any additional comments or questions?
I don't believe so, Mr. Chair. I'll make a motion to approve item number 4 with the conditions as amended and enhanced and added county side.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes on the city side.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to move on to the regular agenda. Item number 5, zoning text amendment 24-02 to amend the 2002 revised joint zoning ordinance for Minnehaha County and the city of Sioux Falls to add intermodal shipping container regulations. Kevin?
Good evening, I'm Kevin Hookman again, County Planning Department. Item number 5 for zoning text amendment for shipping containers. We have PowerPoint here. Last month, we brought at least the idea of the shipping containers amendments forward to you for discussion. The county recently adopted a shipping container ordinance for the county at large, which basically requires a building permit for permanent shipping containers and distinguishing when a shipping container is permanent and when it's not permanent. Shipping containers are increasingly being used for these various purposes, including construction for materials. The International Building Code does have a provision that allows shipping containers to be used in construction, but it does have that caveat that it requires engineering for that, and we want to make sure that's also required for any sort of construction. The ordinance, I'll put a couple of the highlights in the ordinance on the screen here. There's a definition of shipping container. A 6-sided metal unit constructed as general cargo container used for the transport of storage of goods and materials. Intermodal shipping containers, storage containers do not include railroad cars, bus bodies, semi-trailers, and similar items designed to be permanently attached to a chassis. That added exclusion out of the definition meets other areas of the ordinance that already does not allow those things be used as structures, so you can't use a semi-truck as permanent storage. So there's a temporary placement for any structure that's there for 90 days or less for a shipping container anyway. A freestanding shipping container there from longer on a property for longer than 90 days requires a building permit. As a standalone structure, it requires a building permit and limited to 1 container per residential zone property. Or 1 container for A1 zoning district that has less than 3 acres in size. If there are more than 1 container, a conditional use permit must be obtained. I will note that any ag parcel of 3 acres in size or larger does not have that conditional use permit requirement attached to it. So they could put 3 or 4 shipping containers on their property if the ordinance allows them elsewhere with just building permits. And then for permanent accessory buildings being used as part of the structure, as I noted, engineering will be required in A1 or residential and A1 agriculture less than 3 acres. You're going to be using more than 1 structure for that, so that means you'll need to get a conditional use permit for a structure like that. And then for the primary building, let's say someone has to build a house out of it, they must follow building code and engineering as required. So with the ordinance, I do have a copy of the ordinance amendment for your review in the staff report. If this goes through, it'd become effective in May. Is there any questions?
Any questions for him?
Madam Chair, Kevin, when it's a temporary use, the 90 days or whatever, is it going to have a temporary permit on it dated so you know it's 90 days or I missed it if it's in there?
We did not include any provisions for like having a this has been temporary or like a permit like that. I guess it would be we see it in 90 days or like get that complaint that there's been one sitting here for a while. That sort of a thing. I would add, I guess it didn't point out in the staff or this report, that if there's an active building permit on the property, you can keep it shipping container there while the permit is active. So that way you could cross over that 90 days. If it's a 1-year building permit, you can keep it there for that time. So.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
Any other further questions for him? Okay. Commissioners? Oh, I'm sorry. Does anybody wish to speak to this item? Okay, commissioners?
Well, Madam Chair, we've got this one at the county level, and I think for consistency, I'd appreciate our city partners helping us put this one in place in the joint jurisdiction. I think it's just good to be proactive on this, so I will move approval.
I'd second.
I have a motion and seconded to approve the zoning text amendment 24-02. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
On the city side, motion.
I'll make a motion on the city side to approve the zoning text amendment.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed? Passes on the city side.
Any old business? New business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn on the county side.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
On the city side,
Chair, I move to adjourn.
Second.
motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
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 Opposed?
Thank you.